Welcome back to the channel. Now today we've got a little match review of the Newcastle Aston Villa Summer Series game last night. Before we get into it though, make sure you subscribe. At least 73% of people who watched the last video weren't subscribed. Little fun fact for you. So let's up that number. No, that's down that number. You know what I mean. So last night's starting 11. Quite an interesting starting 11. We had Paul start from the off, which was a good sight for me at least. We had Tonali and Bruno start together, which nice to kind of see how that relationship worked in the midfield. Overall, pretty good starting 11. And that was until, of course, we started playing, because we were playing three at the back, and it was awful. I don't know why we chose that system. I know Howe wanted to attempt something. I don't think it was attempted well. I don't think we've got the facilities for three at the back. I think Paul played well. I think Shaw played all right. I think Trips had a mediocre game at best. Ollie Watkins is left wide open to put away. Now this is on our right hand side. Tonali rides McGinn for some reason. McGinn's able to get away. Trips doesn't follow the man. You could argue that Murphy should have been there, but Trips playing that right centre back role, he had to be there. He wasn't. Watkins is wide open. He finishes. We're down 1-0. So it's not great starting. It's showing the disadvantages of us using it three at the back right in that very moment. Anderson then not long after gets a chance. He just needs to put his foot through it, and that's in. It's squared to him in the box. He missed kicks. It could have been 1-1 in that moment, but it wasn't, so it's fine. Anderson, after that, had a good game. And then they scored again. Pretty similar goal, actually. Again, just wide open on the flanks. And then not long after that, Buendia makes it 2-0. So we're down 2-0 within like the first 20 minutes. Far too much space on the flanks. It's a similar sort of move. I think Tonali rides another player. I don't know if it was John McGinn again or if it was someone else, but he just rides them again. So pretty poor defensively from him in that moment. But again, Trips, Murphy, someone needs to get in that wide position. If we're playing five at the back, when we're defensive, we need to actually get those players back. So yeah, we're taking too long to react to that ball going on the flanks, because it happened on both sides. Don't know how it happened to him when that young number 33 for Aston Villa got the ball over on the right hand side. It would take ages for him to get there. It would take ages for Target just to come back and defend. Now, for as good as Paul Dummett was, Paul Dummett had a fantastic half. I thought he played really well. He did make one mistake, and that led to a shot, which was blocked, luckily. Otherwise, that probably would have been a screamer top bins. Villa's back line, for the most part, was very, very solid. Very, very good. Stayed in line, caused a lot of offsides. However, it didn't matter for Jacob Murphy's pass to Elliot Anderson out of the top. A fantastic ball from Jacob Murphy. Anderson does well to get into the box, stops on a dime. I think it was Consa who flew past him. He's able to slot away bottom corner. Elliot Anderson is going to be a fantastic player. We've got a couple of midfielders who look like they're going to be really good. Elliot Anderson and Lewis Miley, this season at least, they're going to be fantastic. Now, after that, Almiron and Murphy, they had some good link up down the right-hand side. We just lack someone who can get into that 6-yard box. I think that's something Callum Wilson might have done a bit better than Isaac. But getting into that 6-yard box, tapping the ball away. Not every goal needs to look nice. It just needs to go in the net. And then the second goal finally came. Anderson with a fantastic little bit of press. Get the ball off the defender. Getting a bit physical. He got that ball. He runs into the box. He's unlucky not to get the shot away. Maybe a little front post finish would have been a bit better than trying to hit it across, just with the angle and defenders that were around. But we were very lucky to get that rebound, and Isaac with what was obviously an easy finish. So after the first 20 minutes, we kind of picked up a bit. The half overall, pretty awful. Anderson was the only player I thought that kind of shone in that half. Dummett had a great half, but Anderson's the only player that really stepped up. And I'm excited to see what he can bring during the season, whether it's in any of the 4 competitions we have. Everyone's probably going to get a bit of game time this season. I'm excited to see what he can do from either that left wing position or more of a central role like he was playing last season. But yeah, that first half, very poor. Right, so the second half, we made a few substitutes, I think, after the first 30 seconds or something, because we played 30 seconds of the game and then made more substitutes for some reason. After the first 30 seconds, it was just Matt Target, Dubravka who stayed on. So a pretty fresh side. And then not long after that, Aston Villa scored their third. It was all right defensively. It was a really, really good save from Dubravka. A fantastic save. But there was no follow-up, no defender follow-up. That ball's been tipped onto the post, it's bounced back. Botman, Lascelles, someone needs to get that cleared because it left Aston Villa with an easy tap-in. And it was the start of it was a slightly better first 20 minutes, but it was still a very poor first 20 minutes. Another fantastic over-the-top ball. This time, Jamal Lascelles, not someone I would expect to be putting the ball over the top. But a very, very good ball. That man has done fantastic over this weekend. Him and his press conference, very professional. I've started to fall in love with him slightly. He's been very good for us, and he was actually pretty good in this game. That ball over the top. It's an unlucky shot from Gordon. Probably could do a little bit better, but it doesn't matter because again, it's an easy tap in this time for Callum Wilson. So it was a good goal. It's a shame it ended in a tap-in, but a goal's a goal, and it's 3-3. And then not long after this, a possible penalty on Callum Wilson. I watched the replay when it happened. I haven't went back and watched the game at all. I probably should do that. But it looks like it could go either way. I couldn't see if he got the ball. He probably didn't. It probably should have been a penalty. And then there was one on Gordon later on. That one apparently looked like more of a penalty. I completely missed it because I refused to show a replay. So, I mean, that, if anything, indicates probably a penalty. And then 70 minutes into the game, we had the new boy, £39 million worth of man. Harvey Barnes comes on for 20 minutes of football. He hasn't trained with the team. I mean, I'm sure he's barely spoken to a lot of them. But he had an okay half. I don't think we played to his strengths. We're used to having a winger who can dribble. Gordon is a dribbling winger. St. Maximin was a dribbling winger. Barnes is not a dribbling winger. He's a pass and go winger. And that's something that we need to target a bit more, but I'm sure that'll slowly start to form over time. But it's hard to do that when you've been with a team for maybe a day, not trained. So apart from that, he had a decent half. It was all right. So when Barnes came on, we went to a back four. I think we played much better. The defensive line was a lot better. We just as a whole we defended a lot better with that back four. I think we had Miley play that 6 role, and Miley had a really good half. And then the kind of last bit of Newcastle action, Aston Villa had that free kick at the very end, but last bit of Newcastle action was a Harvey Barnes shot. This is probably where a lot of his goals are going to come from. If they're not the sort of quick 1-2 passes, it's going to be shots from just inside the box, not very corner, but like that corner where he cuts in. It was a really good shot. He tries to curl it into the corner. It's a great save from Olsen. He does really good to keep hold of it. But Harvey Barnes, as soon as he gets back into practice, that ball is going in the corner, and that would be Newcastle 4-3. Yeah, so that was a very interesting game. It wasn't good. It wasn't particularly bad in that second half. Only that first half, first 20 minutes, which were awful. It was just an interesting game. It'll be nice to see what Howe does in the Chelsea game Thursday morning, 1:15. See if we go back to playing that 3-back, if we stick with a 4-back. Obviously, we've got a lot of players competing, but I don't think we have the wide midfield / wing back roles we're looking for. it'll be nice to see what we do though. It'll be interesting. Man of the match, obviously, in my opinion, has to go to Elliot Anderson. He played an outstanding game. Not a player on the pitch that played better than him. Finally, just before we end, some mentions of people who had who had great games, because there was not many of them. Jamal Lascelles coming on in that second half. There was one moment where he got toyed with a little bit. Bit of a awful defensive display. But apart from that, Jamal Lascelles was solid in that second half. Paul Dummett was solid in that first half. Again, apart from that one misplaced pass which led to a shot. He played fantastic. He played all right enough to get out wide when we're being overloaded in those flanks. A lot more help needed from Target if we are playing with wing backs, because that's what I suspect we're doing. We're not playing Matt Target left midfield. Dummett had a good game. What I'm trying to say is Dummett had a really good game. Okay, that's it. Anthony Gordon came on. He's taken what he's had playing time with the under 21s, England under 21s over the summer. So I think he's really just taken that into this pre-season. He's showing his worth. He played a fantastic game, and then Lewis Miley had a great game. Played well in that number 6. Good dribbler of the ball. Not much of a long ball passer, but that's something he'll work on. He's like 17, 18. Interesting game. Excited for the next one. Let's see how it goes. Not long till the season starts. Anyways, in a bit, pal.